All right, facing west, property on the right, conservation land on the left. This is tract 9 at the Mule Shoe Project. We've spun around, we're facing east, property on the left, conservation land on the right. It's a direct county road frontage with the conservation land right there on the other side of the county road. So awesome situation. There's a conservation sign right there. It's just saying welcome to State Conservation Area, which is the Mule Shoe Conservation Area in this case. A couple thousand acres of land that's open for public use, which includes hunting. They've got some camping areas, free primitive camping areas. Over a mile of the Niangua River. The Little Niangua River flows right through the conservation area, so you've got good access to that for fishing and swimming and whatnot, canoeing and kayaking. Awesome situation. So, I think we're actually just looking for a place to take off here. A lot of times, even with a county road or any road, when you've got mature timber on both sides, those branches are really kind of blocking your takeoff point. So I think he was just jockeying around looking for a hole in the tree canopy to get up in the air, and there we go. So now we're looking northwesterly over the property, and in the distance you can see, not that far in the distance, but in the distance you can see the Little Niangua River. The conservation area is right there as well. A couple of the different county roads. It's a beautiful river, it really is. We're fairly familiar with that from some other stuff that we've done, but from here it flows northeasterly for about 10 or 12 miles and forms a large part of the Lake of the Ozarks up by Camdenton, Missouri, which is not far at all from the property. So this is kind of a springtime video. Most of the leaves are out, at least partially, but you've got all these different colors of green. Generally because it's so many different species of tree out here. Going to be primarily hardwood. I mean, we saw a ton of red oak, white oak, hickory trees. We saw some black walnut. Some guy said a beech tree or a beech nut tree that he saw out there. We don't know trees that well. We should, but we don't. But some cedar trees as well. And I don't know if we'll see that in this aerial because they get overshadowed by the hardwood trees, but you'll probably see them on one of the aerial maps. Okay, we were looking north, now we're kind of looking northwest again. I think we're getting our bearings. We're looking, that's basically all of Mule Shoe Conservation Area. So that's essentially adjacent to the property. It's just on the other side of the county road. I mean, you can walk right into it from your property. Spinning around, looking to the west. I mean, if you're a hunter, if you're into recreation, into fishing, you've got your own private acreage where you can set up, your deer camp or potentially your camper or even a home or a cabin. And of course you can hunt that and use that, but you can literally go right into a couple thousand acres essentially adjacent to your property for additional hunting and recreation. So it's pretty awesome. Looking northerly, we know the land slopes down from the county road. There's actually a little creek bed. You can see that valley. We're going over it, but this looks like a long video, so I think we're going to get a pretty good look at this. Valley is going to be the low point, rises back up. There's a fairly large level area toward the north side of the property, which we should see in a minute. So in the base of the valley, when we were out there, there's a little creek bed. And we're quite sure it's going to be a seasonal creek. It's doubtful that it runs all year, but it was running the couple times we were out there. I'm not sure if we'll see that in the video. Now we're looking down probably at the fairly large level area toward the north side of the property. Covered in timber. Beautiful mixture of timber. I mean, there are some monster trees out here. And pretty much what we've seen of the property, you're seeing as well. So we just haven't explored much, but there's probably some really cool surprises. There generally is on a large tract like this in the Ozarks looking west. You can see the Niangua River, Little Niangua River, I guess, and of course the Mule Shoe Conservation Area. So I assume we're over the north end of the property. And we're kind of looking at the area as we pan back Now we're looking southerly, directly over the property. You can see that valley, and then from there it rises up, and you can kind of see where the county road is. A little cut in the trees where it rises up from the valley, and then of course the Mule Shoe Conservation Area beyond that. So flying back, and I hope we try to get down and see that little creek bed. That can be tricky with the drone video. Well, it can be tricky with the drone, I should say, because once you get down in that valley, in any valley, there is a risk of losing signal, even if you're fairly close to the controller. I assume we're facing the sun now, which is why all the trees look dark. And we might have just passed that creek bed. There was something on the lower right corner. Oh, he spotted it. Yep. Oh yeah, you can see that. Little glint of water down there. I doubt he's going to try to get much lower, but you can see it right at the bottom there. That's the little creek bed, and it was flowing apparently when this video was taken. The big tree on the lower right, that's a sycamore tree. They love water, so you'll find them in creek beds and river banks. Wow, we're going for it. That's great. That sycamore on the right is beautiful. Once you get up 20 or 30 feet up the trunk, the bark kind of naturally peels off and exposes this almost bright white wood. And it's gorgeous. They're very striking. Spinning around here, we're trying to find a way to get down to that creek bed, I believe. It's at the top of the screen. We're looking northerly, facing northerly. It's at the top of the screen. That big sycamore is at the very top of the screen with the light green leaves. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good shot of that little creek bed. Probably about as good as we'll get with the drone. Oh, but we're going for more. Very cool. You could, if you looked right kind of in the center there, you could actually see the movement of the water. So that flows westerly a few hundred feet into the conservation area, and then down and around and ends up in the Little Niangua River and ultimately in the Lake of the Ozarks. Looking straight west down the valley, you can see that County Road 525 ahead of us, and it flows under that and then down into the river in the conservation area. That whole meadow that you see kind of on the other side of the county road is in the Mule Shoe Conservation Area, as is that section of river. Now back there, red truck at the bottom of the screen on the county road. Property sits on the right side of that. Mule Shoe is on the left as we face essentially due west. So that's a fairly good shot of the property. See if he's getting it lined up here. Yeah, so we're looking west. You can see the county road pretty clearly left of center, or you could a second ago. Mule Shoe on the left, property on the right. Keep looking to the right. You can see how it slopes down pretty steeply to that creek bed. And then if we were to pan to the right, you would see how it slopes back up and then eventually levels off. But instead we're going this way, and that's good too. We can check out the Mule Shoe. So that's directly adjacent to the property. And now we're panning back westerly. And looks like we're coming to the end here. We got a pretty good look at it. That's a longer drone video than we've done in a while, so that was good to see. The red truck there is probably parked roughly in the middle of the road frontage. It's generally what we try to do when we take a video. Not always, but if it's possible, we try to do that. And that is a beautiful river. Awesome property. Rare tract. We're excited about it. If you have any questions, just let us know.